Welcome, welcome back to another episode of the Gothic Heart. And today we have a very exciting guest who brings a cross section to styles of horror and art and fashion and jewelry, and she sculpts it all herself. So I can't wait to show you all of her designs or to have you go check them out. I'm so excited she's here. This is Cassandra of One Twisted Vixen, and she
Hello.
creates the most amazing jewelry, and she's branching into new things, not just jewelry, that you have ever seen literally in your life. If you are a horror fan, gothic fan, alternative fan, you've got to check out her stuff. So I'm just going to have her introduce herself and give us a little bit of her background. Go ahead, Cassandra.
All right, so I curated the brand One Twisted Vixen. My name's Cassandra. Let's see some background. I'm a hairstylist. That's what I do outside of this. So I do hairstyling by day and then I sculpt by night. And I've been doing it for a year now. Yeah, pretty much a full year now. So, yeah.
A year? Yes. I actually even remember, I think when you first launched, I somehow found you right away.
Yep.
These are incredible.
Thank
So
you.
I'm really interested to know, being a hairstylist, etc. So what brought you into, I've got to start creating these things and I've got to sell my creations?
So it's something I've always wanted to do. I started when I was like, let's see. I started sculpting when I was 16 years old. And I've always liked the idea of selling things, like selling my creations, having people have my creations, not so much the making money off of it, but like having people have it and wear it. And I liked that. And it started, I had a business called The Little Things, and I just made really small things. It was like my first like experimental business. And I over time I've liked the idea. That didn't last very long because I was like very young when I did it. And I wanted to continue doing that, but I just wasn't sure what to do. And then I just over time I kind of grew into it, and then I was one day I was like, I need to just do it. Like just let go of the fears and anxieties of it and just do it, and that's when I started.
I think every entrepreneur gets to that point. We've got to let
Yes.
go of our fears and just do it. That
Yep.
is super common. And then once you just do it, then you figure it out on the way.
Yeah, I feel like it took me so long. I'm like, why did it take me so long to like do it? And I'm like, when I pinpointed it down, it was because I was letting that like perfectionist side of me, like once it, if it's not perfect, I couldn't do it. It had to be perfect. And then I was like, I just got to let that go and just do it, or else I'm never going to.
That is such a common thing that I hear, that you hear just amongst artists and creatives in general. But once you
Yeah.
get past that block, that mindset block, then we get to experience all these cool things that creators get to make.
Yeah.
So I see in the background, you've got your skeleton, you've got some lovely, amazing decor, which I should show off my house at some point.
Yeah.
We'll get there. So we can already tell, and even your cute outfit and your jewelry, that you are liking the alternative styles like
Yep.
me and like our listeners do. So where do you, for the pieces that you create right now, where do you get your inspiration from?
So I get a lot of my inspiration from movies, but I also get it from like fashion things. But mostly, I would say most of it is movies. I'm a big movie person. I love like especially the horror genre. Like I love all of it. Like every aspect of it, like behind the scenes, the special effects makeup of it. It's all very inspiring for me.
And I could definitely attest to your movies, and now I'm like kicking myself. I did this on the last one too. I have earrings that custom made by you. Why am I not wearing them? What? They're from the movie The
Me neither.
Labyrinth. Okay, well, I'm going to post a picture in like post
Yep.
of the earrings because they're amazing from The Labyrinth. So I definitely know your movie inspiration. Do you have any formal training on all of your sculpting or creations, or is it just trial and error and pure
A lot
talent?
A lot of it is trial and error. I do sometimes post like in my stories for Instagram when I remember to. I try to post like when I do a complete flop, or I'll post something and then like a week later I'll be like, that wasn't good. Why did I post that? I do that
Okay, but
sometimes, but
is it truly not good or is it your perfectionism coming through?
sometimes it's truly not good, and then
Okay.
sometimes it is my perfectionism. I have one that I remember I posted was like my first attempt at the nun. And I was just like, yeah. And then I looked at it again. I was like, no, no, that was bad.
I just want to pause for 1 second and
Mhm.
just give a little background here because you make your creations out of polymer clay.
Yeah.
And the polymer clay jewelry world is, I mean, insane, right? Come COVID, everybody started making jewelry out of polymer clay. I've made tons of things out of polymer clay. It's so fun. But there is a giant, giant difference between what you do and the 9,000 million polymer clay jewelry artists out there. They are using, cutters and stencils and transfers, and everything you do is purely sculpting and coming up in your brain. So it is not just like everybody else's, like the majority of polymer clay jewelers out there.
Yeah.
So
So,
I just wanted to make sure that that was
yeah.
obvious.
Um, I forgot what the question was.
Oh, there wasn't a question. I
Okay.
was just talking, but I just wanted to make sure, like, we're just not talking like your normal everyday polymer clay
Yeah.
jewelry. We are talking unique works of art.
Yes.
Now, with what you do in the horror movies and the amazing creations with lots of, blood and spooky stuff, how, when you're coming up with a design, are you figuring out how you're going to balance like how macabre and horror and graphic it's going to be with how it'll be aesthetically pleasing to make a sale?
So when it comes to like all of my creations, I just make them without like wearability or sales in mind. Like I just go for it, and like I don't really think about that side of it. Like I think of more like how much more can I add to it, like to make it look as crazy as possible. Like I think of it more that way.
I think that's the way to do it. I think so many, and that's part of what the whole thing here is about. I think so many are trying to balance what they like with what the masses like and,
Yeah.
to make sales. But you're not compromising. You're doing exactly what you want. And guess what? The customers are still coming.
And I think that that's kind of like a big deal for me to have other people understand that too, that like, you know, you don't always have to create what the masses like, and like, how do I want to say this? Like, um it's important to create something that only you like too, or something that you really like. And if people don't like it, that's okay. You're going to have your niche of people who like what you make regardless.
I could not agree more. And that even, I was just going to ask you about niching down and if you had any advice for a lot of those entrepreneurs who do still have that mindset of everybody has to like everything and don't really understand the concept of getting niche down and how that can benefit them. Do you have any advice on that?
So I was writing some stuff down on this because I was like, what kind of advice would I have for that? And niching down. I didn't really think too much about it when I was doing it. I just wanted to create something that was mine, that I really liked. So I didn't really think about it. And I guess like people need to take challenges, try different things even if it doesn't work out, and show people what you're doing. Show them, even if you don't really like it, you might be surprised that a lot of people do.
That's why I think when you were talking about when you post things and don't turn out, that's so valuable. I mean, it
Yeah.
shows your vulnerability and who you are as a person, and people
Yeah.
can like you and your art, and it just makes it that much more of a connection between people. And I also think that to be honest, if someone's not niching down or they want to be like, well, most people like this, so that's what I'm going to do. I think some of that can stem from that sort of perfectionism. Like you're afraid to not create something that someone doesn't like. We have to be okay with people not liking some things.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
that's fine. They're not your customer. So even though maybe you weren't exactly sure about why you were niching down or that you are a huge testament to how successful you can be by niching down. You find your customers and your customers like your stuff. You're not trying to appeal to a customer who would buy elsewhere or a
Yeah.
customer who likes other things. So that's really, really valuable in creating like the community of people who like your things and repeat sales and things like that.
I think
So
to me too, community, like you say, that was when I realized that I could create that community of people. Like it's the best thing ever. Like I would rather have that community than have those sales and those people that hype me up because they're amazing. I've met some super amazing people and they're always just hyping me up. It's amazing.
that's the best, getting the connections and having people just hype you up and love what you do without expecting anything in return.
Oh yeah.
That is the dream, to have those
Yes.
people and that kind of support. So I'm so glad that you were able to find that. Did it just happen organically? How did it end up happening?
Yeah, I'd say organically. I'm also pretty active with talking with people. I try to be, and like responding back with people. So I find that that created that pretty quickly. I just became friends with a lot of people. So and I would say it was organically. Like I wasn't trying too hard or like having expectations in mind. I was just going for it.
Well, that's awesome. So much of how it sounds like how you've kind of come up and done this was not super intentional, but the way that it's ended up has been exactly what entrepreneurs and business people would want. They want that
Yeah.
community, they want to niche down. So the way you did it was perfect and a great example, even though it doesn't seem like it was particularly intentional. That's
Yeah.
still awesome. So I have a question then. So we've got this very specific aesthetic that you have and that you create. And well, let me back up just a second in general. Do you do custom orders?
Not yet. So I
Okay.
want to eventually try it when I have more time, but because I barely have enough time to do what I want to do, so my consistency just isn't there right now because of that. And if I threw in the custom orders, I'd probably disappoint people.
There's probably so many people who want custom,
I
me
get asked about
included.
it a lot.
Well, then I feel very grateful that I was able to get my custom order from you.
I do like occasionally I'll have like if I become like close friends with somebody and they're like, "Would you ever?" And I'd be like, "Well, what's your idea?" And I'd be like, "Okay, let me try it."
Okay, all right. Well, yes, then I was very lucky.
Yeah.
Well, so the second part of the question I was going to ask you, and this may be, for the future or what your plans are, would be what if I mean, when you get a custom order, what if it's something, that people they're willing to pay, they really want this item, but it is completely not your style.
I probably wouldn't do it because I like if I don't have that passion for something, like I'm gonna put it off. I've like it's just I'm not gonna want to do it. And I feel like if I feel that way now, I'm not and I know I'm not gonna put my heart and soul into it like they deserve and like they'd be paying for, then I'd rather just not do it.
What 100%. Do you know how many people and business owners, again, like those ones that maybe aren't niching down yet or haven't found their community, that will take anything on and maybe they're not going to do their best job when it's not necessarily their passion or in their wheelhouse or what they're known for or what they're
Hmm.
building. So that's amazing. I wonder, if do you ever get ideas or inspiration from other people?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I find that I'm always like on Pinterest scrolling through it like people's specifically special effects makeup because I always find that it helps me with my like how to color things and um using colors I wouldn't usually think to in certain places. So I find that, and there's like so many amazing artists who I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I wish I could create something like that. And I'll go from there and be like, well, what can I create from that that's not obviously not what they're doing, but like my own version of it.
Of course. I mean, art all comes from something, from
Yeah.
something else. So, what is your favorite piece that you've ever made? If you can pick a favorite.
Oh my goodness. My favorite piece I've ever made. I don't know. I do so I think for like my scary I have some here with me so that way I can show like as we're talking
Okay.
about them. But
And if you're
these
just listening on the podcast, we'll have links to everything.
yeah.
Yes.
These like I just liked how scary they were
Those are
and how I was
amazing.
able to get that like I don't know, just creep factor in there and that I was really proud of that and excited by that.
How many tries did it take you?
So I sculpted out the piece, like the main piece. Um, I think I did that only one time. I do it with like a regular base of clay,
Mm-hmm.
and then I baked that, and then I did a mold of that, and then I do one,
Genius.
yeah, I do one like practice piece, and then if I like how that looks, then I do my other ones. So sometimes it takes more sculpting than just that, but that one on to be like once.
Oh, that's amazing. And the making the mold is so genius. I mean, I
Yeah.
even had one of my questions coming up about how do you handle the production, like with the orders and multiples of what are, very unique creations. So that probably answered some of my questions, but do you have any other ways that you handle that?
So mostly it's through molds, like, and I want my pieces to still be like authentically different each piece. So I'm not making like, you know, it it's just a very base. So like going back to this one for example, the mold is this part right through here.
Okay.
I sculpt the teeth, I fix the nose, I do the eyes, the hair, the skin texture. I don't know if you can even see it through there. The skin texture
Yep.
and everything else is all each individually done. And I find that that
That's
helps
incredible.
save time, but also and make things more affordable than if I were to individually sculpt things, and makes it easier to make the duplicates.
Yes, yes. And I saw that was a keychain, which is awesome because so much
Yeah.
of your stuff is again earrings. So you have to make two that are, I mean, if
Yes.
they're not supposed to be matching, then, as matching as you can. So what other things are you, so you've got the keychains. I saw that you made like a sculpture the other day. So what are you branching out to?
Yep. So I have this one that I made. This was just a
Yes.
practice one to see like what I wanted to do. And then this one that I made. I like the idea of making sculptures, but I wanted them to have some function. And I see that there are some sculptors out there who do like the little pots.
Mhm.
So I wanted to try something like that. I do so I make the earrings. I try to make necklaces sometimes, but I don't know. This is never my go-to for some reason. I make stickers. I am branching out into digital art too to like try new
Ooh.
things and add new things. I would like to do like clothing and stuff would be fun.
Yes.
I would like to get
Yes.
like my jewelry designs into a digital form to do that. I think that would be really cool.
That would be amazing. So you keep leading me into like questions that I had for you. So this is perfect. Like, where do you see yourself going? So I hear some things that you want to expand into. But are you looking to make this a full-time thing? What can we hope to see in the next few years?
Full time would be my absolute goal with it. I think that would be amazing. It makes me very nervous though. I'm like, what if the whole world just shuts down or something?
Like
But
it
I mean,
did.
you can't live off of those what ifs. So I was working full time, and I was able to go down to working only 4 days a week, so I could have more time to do this. I want to grow it into a brand, but I want it to be an artist's brand. I don't want it to be like the next I don't know what brands are out there. My mind is blanking at the
I don't
moment,
know,
but
Hot
like
Topic.
yeah, I don't want to be the next hot topic, but like I want to still have that artist vibe to it. But I want it to be like my own little world of design.
That is gonna be amazing. It's going to be. I can't wait to see it. You're still just a solopreneur right now, right?
Yeah.
So you wear all the hats. Wow.
Yes. And it's a
Definitely
lot.
know what that is like. Yes. And your content is still, and your photos. I mean, everything. It seems like you're talented at every single piece of it.
Thank you. I try. I really do. One thing that was really great of an investment for me was a digital camera. It makes a big difference in how your content is going to look and photos and everything. So that it definitely helps.
That is really good advice. Yeah. I mean, you saw like you could tell a definite difference.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's awesome. Did you well, still going back to that, like I didn't get a digital camera and now I'm like, should I have? Because the Google Pixel 8 always talks about its amazing camera. So now you've got me questioning, like, now I want to try it.
The content like the content it creates, it just has more depth to it than a phone does. So like where it is still good quality on a phone, it doesn't have that depth.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, it's a good thing that most of the time I have photographers doing pictures, but I've got to look into that. Thank you. That is a good idea. Um, so we talked about what your plan is and what it might look like. How have you gotten to even where you are right now? Just from the year that you've been in it, you've already expanded in what you make and so many different designs. So can people like can you only buy from you on the internet? Do you do shows? Like how do you get your name out there?
So right now it's just through mostly Instagram. I'd have Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Um, and I don't do anything in person yet. It's my next goal is to do like in person. I really want to do there's this the Salem Night Fair down in Massachusetts. And
Yep,
it's
I've
like
been
I
there.
think a 5 hour drive for me. And I think that would be an amazing like debut market thing that I would like to
Yes.
do.
I feel like
So
their
that's
stuff
my
would
next
sell
goal.
insane, go wild. I've actually been to that market, been to Salem, done
I
all of
haven't
the,
been
well,
yet.
we had a vacation. My husband and my 10-year anniversary, we went and did Salem.
That'd be
Got to
amazing.
experience a whole bunch of things, but I could not imagine it doing more. Well, then doing better than right there. That would be amazing. So then what else would be the Oddities and Curiosities Festival?
I looked to apply to do that because it comes to a city that is near me, and they fill up so fast. I was like, well,
Mm-hmm.
there goes my chance.
They do. They do. Well, there's always the next year and the year
Yep,
after that.
I'm
So
gonna
how are you
definitely
going to
try.
handle production with a store? Like how are you going to know advise us? Like how do you know when you've got things that you're putting aside for a show or your store and then somebody wants to buy it but you know that you need it? Like how do you balance where you're going to sell it?
So that's why I try to make duplicates. That was all my attention there is. So what I'm in the process of actually doing right now is going through my designs and making more so that way I can have a set amount on my website and or on my Etsy, whatever I have at the time. And then when I do those markets, I'll be able to do that as well and have that bulk supply. But it's a challenge to get there.
Sounds super exciting. It's so super exciting. I want to switch gears just a little bit.
Yep.
It's something that I talk about a lot on the Gothic Heart. So it seems like me, that you've been interested in these styles and this sort of decor and everything for many, 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 many years. So have you ever experienced from family, from colleagues, from anything, people who are not understanding and discrediting what you like and what you do?
So I've experienced it a couple of times. Obviously, in high school, I was like a scene kid, so I've obviously experienced it there. I haven't really experienced it up until actually quite recently. So I had my lip pierced, and a guy, one of my customers, one of my regulars, he actually was like very rude about like he's like, aren't you too old for that? And he was like saying all these things, and like just like he was referencing like the whole style of like being alternative. And he's like I just don't get it. I'm not judging, I just don't get it. And I'm like, oh
You
my
are
god,
judging.
like it was like my first, like, surprisingly my first experience with that, like,
Yeah, it
to
was
my face.
absolutely judging. So I
Yeah,
don't know what he was
I
trying to
was
say, but
like,
that's
what do
not
you mean?
judging. Uh, too old for, okay. Hey, we're never too old. By the way, I'm in my 40s. I have 3 kids, and I literally was looking up because I've always wanted my lip pierced if I should do that. Okay,
Yeah,
you're never too old.
I was like, what do you like? What do you, what is the age cap in your brain, and like why? Like, I've never really understood that. Like, why do people get stuck in this bubble of basic? I don't know how to any better way to say that, but like that basic bubble, and they anything outside of that is disgusting to them, and I don't understand it.
You and me both, man. And it's so much better than it used to be. Like, granted,
Oh yeah,
things are improving, etc. But it's definitely still out there. It absolutely is.
yep,
And you're 100% right. It's disgusting. Like, why can't we be ourselves? Why? Are we hurting you in some way? It's the same thing over and over. But yeah, I've experienced a lot of the same things depending, and I don't always even dress or experience or show off my style, because sometimes I'm just all about the sparkles and everything. But even that, I've gotten comments on, like, inappropriate makeup. I'm like, it's literally just glitter. Like,
yeah, yep.
so it's just wild. It doesn't harm anybody, but it's so crazy how people still think of that, isn't it?
It's insane.
Yeah. Well, but you've got your community of like-minded people that appreciate you and understand everything that you do. And
Yep.
so that's really important. And so I mentioned it before, how your, polymer clay jewelry and accessories are completely different from regular clay jewelry with the cutters and the stencils and all of those things. So do you have any sort of, not competition per se, but do you follow or interact with any other sort of companies that have the same aesthetic as you?
I try to. I like to see what other people are doing, and like if I can become friends with them and like talk with them, I do like to follow them. And um yeah,
That's amazing. I
yeah.
see your pieces, and I have never seen anything like that. So that's why I was like, is there even anything? Are you one of the first? But
So
I'm sure.
I try to see like what there is out there in compare like to my like competition. There isn't a lot. I think when I look up like horror polymer clay, I never really see anything quite like mine. Maybe occasionally here and there. Um, but nothing that's the same.
I, I've never either. That's why I'm always like checking all of your stuff as soon as I've got your notifications on for your account, because I always want to see when your stuff comes out. So it's just, I, I 100% think that your stuff will be able to, I mean, you might even find stores in Salem that want to carry your items. I mean, not just Salem, but I just know that there's a lot geared towards that way in Salem when I was there, or New Orleans or
I've
something,
been asked a
because
couple
they're,
of times about like store being in stores,
yes.
but it's like the bulk supply that they'd
Mm-hmm,
have to
mm-hmm.
buy, and like the inventory and all that. I'm like, I don't like, I'm not 100% ready for that just yet. So I'm like understanding wholesale. So I have to do a little more research before I really open that door.
Yep. Well, that's amazing. People are even reaching out to you. I mean, that again shows it's not out there. It's not out there. So that's amazing. And I mean, lastly, I feel like the entire thing that I've been talking about is just how amazing your work is, which everybody will see when they do this. But lastly, just how like your customers and customer feedback and ideas and that community, does it influence your work at all?
Not the community doesn't specifically influence my work. They do get me excited about it though. Like I always like when I'm making something, I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna love this. I can't wait to show it. I guess that would be the way that they influence me. My inspiration and all that really just more so really hones in on the movies and everything like that.
Yep. So I'm just thinking, like, let's say one of your designs just sells out and sells out and sells out. Well, then maybe it wasn't your favorite, but would that mean like, hey, I got to keep making this because my customers love it? Nope.
No, they do that with there's been a couple of times where people are like, when are you making one? I was like, I don't know, when I want to, I guess.
Yep. That's
But
good.
I do think that in a way that it creates like a commodity, if that's the right word to use for that. Like,
Well, I mean, it's limited.
Yeah.
You can't just get it.
Which is good, but like that's just me like going, yeah, I've moved on to this other thing that I'm excited about, so I can't really focus on creating that right now. I might in the future though.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That keeps your passion alive. You don't get bored.
Yes.
You're not hating what you do. So I can completely understand that. So, what can you tell everybody that's listening where they can find your work? I mean, we'll post links and everything, but share it with us anyway.
So I'm working on my website right now. It's not up. It is Shop Twisted Vixen.
Okay.
I might change it to One Twisted Vixen if I can, or Shop One Twisted Vixen. That's up in the air right now. I have Shop Twisted Vixen on Etsy, and that's where most of my purchases is through.
Okay.
And
definitely
One Twisted Vixen on social media.
Definitely all over Instagram and showing all of your things. Sorry, this question just came to me. I know we were wrapping up, but do you mostly focus on more of the older horror movies and things or more of the established ones? Or do you ever see like all the new ones and get excited about those, or it's mostly the historical ones?
Yeah, I have a thing for like the originals, like nothing really compares to them, so I guess I'm a pretty harsh critic when it comes to like the newer movies, but I do like to watch them and just like see what's coming next, and I'm really excited to see there's one coming out called what is it? It's an Omen movie, one of the Omens.
Oh, yes. Yes.
The new Omen or the first Omen, I don't remember what it's called. I'm excited to see that one though.
There's definitely something to be said for the classics. Like in my head, I'm trying to think like, what are you going to make from Amityville Horror? Because my name, Amity. But then in my head, I'm like, there's nothing you can make from Amityville Horror a bee. Like, no, the movie doesn't even lend itself to anything. Maybe the house, but it's not cool enough.
If I were to do anything, it would be the house.
Yeah. The house is pretty memorable. Yep. Yeah, that was just popping through my head. It is. Yep. I like when I've been to New York and everything, every time like you can get the weather app on your phone, it tells you what city. Like every time it says I'm in Amityville, I'm always like screenshotting it. What are good occasions for us to wear your jewelry?
I guess any event that you want to stand out, I think is a good time to wear them. Like if I go to like a haunted house or something in October, that's my favorite time to wear them. I like to show them off. But I wear mine to work when I'm doing hair.
I was about to say everything because I forgot, of course, to wear them right now. I'm going to a chamber meeting later, the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm totally going to wear them.
There you go.
Because it just reminded me of totally chamber meeting anywhere, weddings, doesn't matter, anywhere. Just got to rock your style.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything I forgot to cover that you want to share with us?
Let me think. I wrote stuff down, so let me
Okay,
take a look
yes,
and
let's hear it.
let's see. Oh, so one thing I'm looking to do in the future is, and this is kind of like a maybe thing, so I don't want to get people too excited about it, and then it's gonna be like a while till it
I'm already
happens.
excited and I haven't even
But
heard it.
I want to write a book detailing my experience from beginning to where I'm at when I finish of like that small business artist, just the experience with, like, you know, pictures of where I started, where I am, tips that I was like frantically searching that I was unsure of, like taxes as a small business,
That's a
as
big
an
one.
artist, like things
Yep.
like that. I would like to do that, so that's something that we can look forward to.
That would be so helpful for so many people. I mean, entrepreneur myself, I know exactly what you mean. Those little things that you forget about. So many, especially true artists like yourself and true creatives, are just like, well, I'm going to create and people can buy. Well,
Yeah,
but there's a lot more to it. So
there is a
that
lot.
would be amazing.
Yes. So I'm excited to start that. Like, this is what this book right here is that I have. It's me writing all those little things down and all my experiences and everything.
Oh, that's exciting. I mean, you actually usually have, I can't speak, you actually have like a lot of growth plans and ways that you're going to go about it. So, I mean, I know you're only the way you say it 1 year in, but you've already come so far. So I just am excited to follow you as you go. And it's going to be amazing when you are able to do it full time, how much you'll be able to devote to it.
I'm
So,
really looking forward to that because I can't even imagine what my growth would be like if I did have that time. Because my brain is constantly going with ideas and things I want to do, but it's so hard to find that balance of time and, like, also, you know, relaxing and, you know, replenishing your own strength and everything else. It's a lot to
yes,
balance.
taking care of yourself. Yes, that
Mm-hmm.
is a huge one, especially,
Yes.
I mean, I forget that one all the time with my kids and the business.
Yep. It's
Everything.
hard.
It is, it is. But you're already been managing, you've already came so far, so I have no doubt we're gonna see amazing things. And as you keep expanding, when your next thing comes out, I'm gonna be like, well, you have to come tell us all about it.
Yeah.
So glad that you came and joined us. And I really, everybody check the links that I've attached, check the blog where I'll put all the pictures, and definitely go check out Cassandra's work because I have no way of describing how incredible or what it is that you're going to see. There's just no words. And I know I've said it 50 million times already, but there's nothing else out there like it. So you've got to check it out for yourself. She's at One Twisted Vixen, and we're going to post all the links below. But definitely, if you are loving what we're talking about, want to hear more, share it with somebody, click the likes, click the subscribes. We're going to keep bringing you more of this. And thank you again, Cassandra. And we
Thank
will
you.
see you in the future.
Thank you for having me.